Hello everyone, welcome to the Buzz the Prey Manga. Today we continue the latest Global Freeze chapter, rewritten and edited by me in English for a smooth reading experience. All visuals and story flow are personally edited to give you the best manga style storytelling. Support the original creator by checking the official manga. So let's dive right into the today's chapter.
Chapter 2775 Opportunities and Challenges 1. And the core of this mission, without a doubt, can only be that man. On the helipad of Yunk Manor in Tianhai City. Dressed in a black battle suit, Zhang Yi calmly greeted his old friends who had traveled from afar. The first to step off the spaceship was Arthur, the King of Britannia, clad in golden lionheart armor and with a sword in the stone at his waist. His expression remained resolute, but a hint of worry was now visible between his brows. Following closely behind was the de facto ruler of Colombia, Jeremiah Morgan, dressed in an expensive suit, with a large gold chain around his neck, and always playing with a gold coin in his hand. As a representative of capital and technology, his eyes always gleamed with a calculating light. Because he had so much gold and jewels on him, Zhang Egan couldn't remember what he looked like. My only impression can be summed up in 3 words: it's dazzling. A gust of cold wind swept by, and Morena, the goddess of winter from Fremont, arrived, stepping on the frost. She remained as aloof as a lotus flower atop a snow-capped mountain, but her eyes brightened noticeably the moment she looked at Zhang Yi. This warlike northern warrior, after witnessing Zhang Yi's current strength, felt a greater affinity for him. Admiration for strength is a warrior's instinct. Finally, a tall, slender man with a black robe, wearing golden armor and possessing sharp eyes appeared, Saladin, the emperor of the Khotan Empire. Today, the Khotan Empire, after annexing several chaotic small countries in the surrounding area and absorbing a large number of wandering aliens, has become a top empire on Earth with an extremely large population and territory. Saladin's aura was even more unfathomable than it had been a few years ago, as if a black flame was burning within him. This is the current top-tier battle team in the world of martial arts. Zhang Yi of Huashu Kingdom, Chaos. Britannia, King Arthur, Arthur Pandoragon. Colombia, Adam Smith, a German Morgan. Fremont, Goddess of Winter, Morana. Khotan Empire, Shadow Emperor, Saladin. As for Indra of Bharata and the Pope of the Papacy, since they had already pledged allegiance to the ancient 3-headed tribe of Bhagwan and the Feather tribe, they naturally would not appear in this autonomous camp belonging to the Bhagwan. Hello everyone, it's been a long time. Zhang Yi nodded slightly, which was considered a greeting. Lord of Chaos Pavilion. King Arthur spoke first, his tone heavy. The Feather Clan's sudden convening of this conference is clearly an attempt to seize control of the Starry Sky Corridor. Coupled with the Tyrannosaurus clan and the Nightmare clan's covetous eyes on you, this trip is likely fraught with danger. Jeremiah Morgan also sighed. Yes, although we have made some progress in our skills over the past few years, to be honest, we're still not confident when facing such a behemoth that has been passed down for several eras. The crowd was somewhat downcast. Although Zhang Yi's battle to establish his authority 2 years ago was brilliant, the world-ending pressure brought by the Starry Sky Corridor, as well as the intricate entanglements of interests among the myriad races, still weighed heavily on their hearts like a mountain. Seeing the nervous expressions on the faces of these leaders, Zhang Yi simply smiled. What are you afraid of? He turned around and gazed at the distant horizon. In this day and age, there is no escaping it. Disaster will not go around you just because you bury your head in the sand. When soldiers come, we'll block them. When water comes, we'll dam it. Since they've set the stage, let's put on our show. The composure and confidence emanating from Zhang Yi instantly captivated everyone. That was the confidence he had gained from countless battles fought his way through mountains of corpses and seas of blood. Just kidding. The key was that he had the Dragon Clan protecting him. Otherwise Zhang Yi would have run away long ago. Let's go. Don't keep those winged birds waiting. With a wave of his hand, Zhang Yi led the group aboard the super battleship Dreamer. The Dreamer took off, transforming into a streak of light as it flew towards distant northern Europe. Through the panoramic porthole, The 5 leaders of the race looked down at the familiar yet unfamiliar land beneath their feet. The Earth has undergone tremendous changes in the past decade or so since its topography was developed. The Earth's surface area expanded dozens of times, and the originally compact continental plates were stretched and torn apart, filling the gaps with countless never-before-seen primeval forests, rugged mountains, and vast inland seas. This is truly unbelievable. Morana looked down at the lush, primeval jungle below, her beautiful eyes filled with awe. There, herds of mammoths strolled leisurely, and pterosaurs with wingspans of over 10 meters circled in the sky. Those prehistoric creatures that once only existed in fossils and textbooks are now living and breathing on the Earth. This is a miracle of life, and also the creator's perverse sense of humor. Saladin said calmly, "When the landscape unfolds, it releases not only the land, but also the ancient ecosystems that were sealed within the folded space." Yes, in just over a decade, everything has changed dramatically. Standing by the porthole, Zhang Yi looked at the magnificent landscape and was filled with emotion. From the apocalyptic world where neighbors shared a few pieces of pork ribs, to the prosperous age where countless races coexist and mythology is revived, the changes in this world are so rapid that they are almost overwhelming. All we can do is keep getting stronger, strong enough to hold onto our little piece of land in this ever-changing world. 2 hours later, the dreamer arrived at its destination, Anse in Northern Europe. When this city comes into view, even the most worldly wise people can't help but take a second look. This is not just a city, it's more like a miracle. Built against the mountainside, its massive white walls stretch for hundreds of kilometers, and countless Gothic buildings with pointed roofs rise from the ground, piercing the clouds. The entire city was enveloped in a sacred golden light, and the air was filled with the faint sound of hymns being sung. In the sky, countless feathered warriors, clad in silver armor and with pure white wings on their backs, patrolled. They were elegant and handsome, like an army of angels from mythology. On the outskirts of the city, there are densely packed settlements of a type of animal. Those were believers of the Holy See. Tens of millions of ordinary people live here, dressed in simple winter clothes, working when they go out and resting when they come down, spending a lot of time every day in prayer and worship. Technological advancements seem to have regressed in their lives. They are more accustomed to creating everything they need with their own hands. They reduce their desires for material things and enrich their inner world. Although they lived in poverty, every face of the village was filled with a fervent and happy smile, as if living under the wings of angels was the greatest blessing. Zhang Yi crossed his arms and looked at them, seemingly recalling the esoteric religious followers of the southwest region and the Fong Wolf clan who abandoned technology to strengthen their spirit and body, and felt a sense of unease. Repairing the self is indeed the closest way to the ether. It's just that the traditional method of repairing the self is too slow. Chapter 2776 Opportunities and Challenges 2. I don't understand some of these things. Benjamin Morgan shrugged, frowned, and looked down at the crowd kneeling like ants, a hint of businessman's confusion flashing in his eyes. He said to Zhang Yi and the others, "The feathered people are a fourth-generation, God-level civilization. Their technology and individual strength far surpass ours. Why go to such great lengths to protect these weak, ordinary people? In their eyes, these people are not even considered laborers, but rather a complete burden. This does not conform to the input-output ratio. For the sake of faith." The answer he gave was the ever-silent Sarah. The Shadow Emperor looked at the followers of the righteous monarchy with a deep and frightening gaze. "Mr. Morgan, you value material things too much. In this world, the purest and most powerful force is actually psychic power." Zhang Yi and the others all turned their attention to Sarah. As one of the leaders of some of the world's largest religious sects, no one understands the power of faith better than him. Sarah's gaze was deep as she looked at the Judaism followers, and she said with some apprehension, "Each individual may seem insignificant, but deep within their souls they are all connected to the etheric ocean. When the will of tens of thousands, even hundreds of millions, is unified, when their desires, worship, and fears all point to the same goal. Sarah extended a finger and gently tapped Anseong City. That combined power of thought is enough to shake the rules and even create a god. Many people may appear to be ordinary people or low-level superhumans, but they possess the potential to become Epsilon-level powerhouses. After religious instruction and brainwashing, the more devout one's faith, the stronger the resonance of the soul, and the more powerful the spiritual fuel that is generated. The feathered people are not doing charity. They are herding sheep. Upon hearing the words shepherding sheep, everyone felt a chill run down their spines. Treating humans as livestock to provide spiritual power is a method that is more chilling than direct killing. Zhang Yi turned to look at Sarah, a meaningful smile playing on his lips. Your Majesty, Sarah seems to be quite knowledgeable about this. If I'm not mistaken, the number of followers in your assassins is not much less than that of the Holy See, is it? Now, your power also makes me curious. Faced with Zhang Yi's slightly probing words, Sarah simply smiled modestly and bowed slightly. Compared to Lord Chaos, I am still far behind. I am merely a seeker groping in the dark, while you are already a pioneer standing in the light. Zhang Yi smiled slightly, neither confirming nor denying. As for the power of faith, it is a legitimate evil cultivation method that allows extraordinary people to quickly possess extremely powerful strength, or even a near-immortal body. However, Ling warned him not to touch the power of faith lightly, otherwise it would easily bring misfortune. Looking at races like the dragons, they also keep this ability a closely guarded secret. So Zhang Yi is very smart. Even though he doesn't understand, he learns from people who are better than him. Therefore, he used the power of faith to enhance only his own battle armor. As everyone chatted casually, the dreamer slowly landed in the designated area of Anseong. The hatch opened, and 5 human representatives stepped onto this sacred land. The moment everyone landed, Zhang Yi waved his hand, and a massive spatial vortex appeared, directly taking the enormous spaceship into another dimension. This ability to conceal one's true intentions behind one's back is something that the other 4 leaders can only envy, no matter how many times they see it. In this resource-driven era, owning a portable warehouse and mobile fortress is practically the ultimate cheat. Let's go. We shouldn't be late. Zhang Yi straightened his collar and led the way toward the main gate of Anshi City. Representatives from the feathered human clan came to greet them, smiling and showing them the way. However, the detachment and indifference in his eyes clearly indicated that he didn't take the 6th-generation delegation too seriously. Sigh, 4 generations have become so mercenary. It seems that human civilization is just going through cycles and hasn't really progressed much. Zhang Yi and the others muttered to themselves as they walked toward the central area of Anshi City. However, just as the 5 of them were about to step through that 100-meter-high white sacred gate, and could even clearly see the procession of winged people lined up inside to welcome them, a sudden change has occurred. There were no signs, no energy fluctuations, and no warnings. The scene before Zhang Yi's eyes underwent a dramatic transformation in an instant. The once sacred and pure city of Anseong has vanished, the bustling crowds have disappeared, and even the sun in the sky has vanished. Instead, there was a suffocating crimson red. Zhang Yi's body tensed instantly, instinctively activating the Taishu Yukata ability, his hands hanging at his sides ready to unleash his strongest attack. He did not act rashly, but was cautiously observing his surroundings. King Arthur and the others also gripped their weapons and instinctively stood back to back. The surrounding space suddenly became extremely bizarrely distorted, as if countless large red ribbons were falling from the void, wrapping the 5 of them in layers. If viewed from above, this scene would appear both spectacular and terrifying. The once peaceful space was cut into countless independent fragments by these red ribbons. These silks are not physical objects, but rather highly compressed and folded spatial barriers. They meander and twist like the Yellow River, blocking out the sky and forming a vast, enclosed maze formation. A crimson light filled the sky, an endless killing intent. Damn it, what's going on? King Arthur instantly drew the sword from the stone, unleashing a burst of golden sword energy. With a powerful swing of his arm, he attempted to cleave through the red curtain before him. But when the sword energy struck the red silk, it was like a mud ox hitting the sea, not even causing a ripple. "This is a trap aimed at us." Mirana's voice was icy cold, and her icy blue eyes shone with a cheetah-like chill. The surrounding temperature instantly dropped to near absolute zero, but the red spatial barrier remained completely unmoved. Zhang Yi's gaze turned icy cold in an instant. A ripple of emotion stirred within him. Even at this moment, he could not remain completely calm. Why did this happen so suddenly? I never take risks in my life, even when I'm here to attend a conference. I've been using the second hand of time all the way here. My eyes have been fixed on the scene for the last 5 seconds. It's just now, in my premonition, we clearly entered Anxiang City without any problems. But why? Why was the image of the altered? Where exactly is the problem? Chapter 2777, The Hunting Group 1. The thing Zhang Yi hates most is the unknown. Because the unknown means being unable to find a way to solve the current predicament. This is the first time Zhang Yi has encountered this situation since awakening his time power. His power to predict the next 5 seconds with his second hand of time has been broken. There is only one explanation. He possesses a rare and powerful means that allows him to shield himself from cause and effect and deceive time. Because the law of causality can transcend time. The causal law does not strictly follow the direction of time. In the common understanding, cause precedes effect. However, in the realm of causality, it is possible that the future effect determines the past cause. "We're here for a meeting. What are you trying to do?" Saladin let out a sharp shout, and black shadows surged around him, trying to find a flaw in the space. "Who is doing all this?" Just then, a sinister, grand voice, seemingly emanating from the red void, resounded. "We've come to kill chaos. Those who are not involved get lost." The words had barely left his mouth. Buzz. The surrounding red silk suddenly trembled, and an irresistible repulsive force erupted. Apart from Zhang Yi, King Arthur, Morgan, Morana, and Saladin, like alien objects squeezed by space, vanished instantly from this red domain. The next second, Zhang Yi was the only one left in the sky, isolated and helpless. Standing in the red void, Zhang Yi looked at the slowly flowing, blood-like spatial barriers around him and calmed down. "I see," he muttered to himself, a cold smile playing on his lips. "Was this a trap specifically set for me? It's enough to isolate me from cause and effect, making me unable to see the future. It's enough to construct such a high-intensity independent spatial domain, and it even forcibly detaches everyone else from my side. What a grand gesture." He originally thought that since this meeting was convened by the feathered people and was held in a major city like Anshi, attracting the attention of the Dragon Clan and all other races, no one would be foolish enough to cause trouble at this critical juncture. Unexpectedly, some people are still so bold, even insane. "Come on." Zhang Yi's hands hung at his sides, and black and white light flowed over his body like mercury, quickly forming a battle suit that fit his body perfectly. With a black base and armored joints resembling the skeleton of a giant beast on the outside, the helmet was deliberately designed by Liu Karen to resemble the mythical creature, Chaos. The God Destroyer armor, a combat weapon that integrates the most advanced technologies of multiple races. "Since you've gone to so much trouble to trap me here, let me see which deity wants my life." Boom. His response was a series of dull footsteps. The sound seemed to be stepping on a spatial node, each step causing the surrounding red silk to tremble violently. The red waves in front of the gate slowly parted. A huge, ferocious figure walked step by step from the void. That was a little giant who was only about 5 meters tall, compared to the titans who were often hundreds of meters tall. This size was indeed small. But the sense of oppression he exudes is 10 times more terrifying than that of the 100-armed giant, Gridge. He was shirtless, his muscles like gnarled dragon roots, displaying a dark golden metallic texture. Most strikingly, He had 7 incredibly thick arms growing from his shoulders, each wrapped with dark red chains. Behind his head was a long, black braid, like a scorpion's tail. Those eyes had no pupils, only 2 burning white flames. Upon seeing this image, Zhang Yi's pupils narrowed slightly. Titans. I thought I had wiped out that race. The 100-armed giants, with their long arms and robust bodies, are characteristic of the Titans. Exterminate them? The man with the groin stopped, his voice like 2 pieces of iron rubbing together, harsh and full of resentment. Chaos, you overestimate yourself and underestimate the strength of our Titan race. That good-for-nothing Galiki is nothing more than a gatekeeper left behind on Planet N. The true Titan elites have already set foot in the Star Sea. He suddenly raised his head and simultaneously opened all 6 arms, instantly locking onto Zhang Yi with a terrifying aura. Remember my name? Titan God. Wanderer Karen. I have returned from the distant Centaurus for only one thing. I offer your head as a sacrifice to the souls of my fallen people. Faced with this sudden attack, Zhang Yi remained calm and composed, like a still pond. He knew very well that those who try to get away with things will eventually have to pay the price. In this dark forest where the strong prey on the weak, there is no hatred without a cause, only eternal interests and the cycle of cause and effect. Back then, for the survival of the Huashu kingdom and for his own evolution, he personally annihilated the expeditionary forces of the 5 ancient civilizations. Even earlier, he wiped out the Nash kingdom, the Uluyuan Empire, and even the Zhurong clan was not spared. The seeds of these killings have now borne the fruit of revenge. Isn't karma a cycle and retribution inevitable? Zhang Yi murmured softly, a contemptuous sneer curling at the corner of his lips. Unfortunately, I've never believed in fate. Born into this desperate era, no one has a choice. To survive, to avoid being eaten, one must only keep growing stronger, strong enough to break the cycle of cause and effect. The crimson silk space surged once more, like a boiling sea of blood. Within this suffocating red light, 2 more figures exuding a terrifying aura slowly emerged, forming a triangular shape with a 6-armed Titan Karen, tightly surrounding Zhang Yi in the middle. Beside her was a woman dressed in a scarlet robe. Her skin was sickly pale, even with a deathly gray sheen, like a vengeful ghost that had just crawled out of its grave. Her fingernails were extremely long, a dark red like congealed blood, and her eyes gleamed with greed and bloodlust. Vampire Avira. The woman stretched out her scarlet tongue, licked her lips, and made a sharp, piercing sound. I've long admired your name, Chaos. To the right is a terrifying black mountain of flesh. It was a giant spider demon that walked upright, over 100 meters tall, and covered with black bristles as hard as iron. On that enormous body, there were hundreds of compound eyes of varying sizes, each reflecting Zhang Yi's image, making one's sanity drop wildly. Spider Demon Clan Guzan. A dull sound emanated from the monster's abdomen, causing the surrounding space to buzz. Nameless, a powerful figure of Black Knight caliber. Zhang Yi's eyes flickered slightly. He knew that this was not all. That being who forcibly separated King Arthur and the others and maintained such a vast spatial seal must still be hiding in the shadows, manipulating the entire chessboard. Chapter 2778, The Hunting Group 2. Call. Zhang Yi exhaled a long breath, and the Godslayer battle armor on his body shone brightly. This new battle suit, which combines the liquid lattice technology of the Ironclad clan with the spirit solidification technology of the Nightmare clan, now displays its unparalleled handsomeness and ferocity. The black and white colors flowed slowly across the surface of the armor like the yin and yang symbols of Tai Chi, resembling the chaos at the moment when heaven and earth were divided. The entire body is a deep, extreme black as the base, and the outside is wrapped in a pale white exoskeleton that looks like the skeleton of an ancient god or demon. The lines are smooth and full of explosive power. The Taishu bathrobe covered his body, creating a shield upon shield, giving Zhang Yi a defensive power far exceeding his own attack power. Even if he were to be attacked by 4 equally powerful individuals at the same time, he would not panic. Zhang Yi tried to communicate with Yang Xinxin and the others in the shadows, because they hadn't said a single word so far, which was too unusual. But when Zhang Yi tried to contact them using communication devices, he discovered that even the shadow of Mu Yan on his body had been stripped away. This time, they've really come prepared for the assassination attempt. Zhang Yi's gaze became serious and sharp, a faint sense of danger appearing, yet it inexplicably made him excited. Always scheming and calculating, he has never experienced any danger. However, Zhang Yi was not afraid. Although the shadow space has been stripped away, preventing him from summoning allies to fight, Zhang Yi still has enough trump cards at his disposal. The only pity is that Ling was also separated, so we can't borrow the Eternal Judgment Sword from her. With a flick of his wrist, black void energy surged, and divine refinement instantly transformed into an exaggeratedly shaped demonic blade. Countless black chains were attached to the hilt of the sword. These chains danced in the air like living things, emitting a chilling gleam. The Titans want to kill you because of the hatred of annihilation, and I understand. Zhang Yi, holding the demonic blade, coldly swept his gaze over Avel and Guzan. But the vampires and spider demons, I remember I have no grudge against you. Is it worth risking your lives to be pawns for the Titans? Resentment. The vampire woman, Avel, let out a shrill laugh, a laugh filled with disdain for any so-called grudges. Chaos, you're too naive. At our level, what need is there for any grudges? She stared at Zhang Yi greedily, as if he were a walking piece of fat meat. A complete supercosmic origin, plus the technology and resources left behind by the 5 great civilizations. This wealth is enough to drive any race mad. Who wouldn't be tempted? We're not here for revenge. We're here to eat. The attitude is very clear. It's blatant survival of the fittest. Very good. Zhang Yi nodded, the killing intent in his eyes instantly freezing. Since you've chosen to die, then I'll grant your wish. The moment the words left his mouth, Titan Karen, who had been waiting in ambush, moved. Enough with the nonsense. Prepare to die. With a sudden burst of strength from his 8 thick arms, he pulled out an enormous crimson longbow from the void. The bow-shaped body seemed to be forged from the core of a star, radiating intense heat. Karen gripped the bow and bowstring with his 6 arms, his muscles bulging and veins popping, making a sickeningly sharp cracking sound as he slowly drew the giant bow. Buzz. The surrounding energy began to converge wildly. A crimson arrow, entirely compressed with high density, solidifies and takes shape on the bowstring. The space around the arrow collapsed under the force, revealing black void cracks. Even though they were far apart, Zhang Yi still felt a sharp, piercing sense of crisis. The power of this attack definitely reached the peak level of the Black Knight. The attack power is at least 65,000 points.
Die.
Titan, fallen star. With a roar from Karen, a crimson arrow shot out from the bow, transforming into a destructive streak of light that hurtled straight toward Zhang Yi's heart. Faced with this deadly attack, Zhang Yi remained calm. The silver-white runes in his eyes spun wildly. Hour and second hand, running at full power. Boundless realm, spatial coordinates locked. At this distance, he had countless ways to dodge. He watched the scene for 5 seconds, observed the trajectory of the arrow, and even calculated the angle of his counterattack after teleporting. Right here. Zhang Yi silently recited it in his heart. In his premonition, he activated spatial teleportation, instantly shifting his body 3,000 meters to the left, perfectly avoiding the crimson streak of light.
Ran.
The moment he activated his teleportation, a bizarre scene unfolded. In the slowed-down view of the second hand, Zhang Yi looked in horror. He had clearly teleported to a safe location, but the surrounding space was moving along with him. No, it's not just that it moved. The entire spatial coordinate system has been forcibly altered. It's like a piece of paper with coordinates drawn on it, which has been folded up. The landing point after Zhang Yi's teleportation was strangely the same as the flight trajectory of that crimson arrow. What? Zhang Yi's figure just appeared 3 kilometers away. Boom! The crimson arrow seemed to have been waiting there all along, and it struck Zhang Yi squarely in the chest. A terrifying burst of energy erupted instantly, like a nuclear bomb exploding in Zhang Yi's chest. Even with the dual defenses of the Godslayer armor and the Void bathrobe, Zhang Yi was still blasted back thousands of meters by this immense force. How so? Zhang Yi forcibly steadied himself in midair, the Taishu bathrobe on his chest heaving violently. Although the defense wasn't breached, the fact that it caused ripples was already quite astonishing. He suddenly looked up at the layers of red silk around him, his eyes filled with shock. I just saw that he couldn't reverse the result of being shot by an arrow? The boundless realm has failed? No, it's not that it's broken. It's that it's been affected. He understood instantly. The fourth person secretly controlling the red silk domain possesses extremely terrifying spatial control. The opponent did not block Zhang Yi's teleportation. Instead, they predicted Zhang Yi's landing point and then used the domain's properties to forcibly pull the spatial coordinates of that landing point onto the arrow's attack path. This means that no matter where Zhang Yi hides, that hiding spot will automatically become the bullseye. This is a spatial blockade at the level of causality. Interesting power. Was this specially prepared for you? Don't worry, we still have time to conduct a few more simulations. We will definitely find a way to crack it. Zhang Yi's brain was working frantically. Hour and second hand. It is true that you can see the time, but every time you see the time, the variables will increase.
Chapter. Tell me in the comments which part you enjoyed the most. If you love manga style stories, don't forget to like the video and subscribe the Buzz Play Manga. See you in the next chapter with more surprises.